So it's first thing in the morning, and you know we got to do some stuff sometimes, and we decided we were going to prank Tim this morning. So we dug out the old fog machine. Where the heck's my hand? There's the old fog machine from the old band days. We are in the middle of the engine. This is actually going to be day number 2 we're starting. There's quite a bit, if I haven't already told you in the video, coming up. So our plan is to have Mitch waiting out here at the fog machine. And when Tim walks in the door, this place is going to be full of fog. And we're hoping, if this plays out right, that he thinks there's a big fire in the garage, because he won't expect it. We schemed this a few weeks ago. So that's our plan, and the next video, hopefully it's a burn. Oh. Hey, you in there? What's the matter?
Well, go out there and look.
What do you mean?
You see that?
What? What? What's the matter?
Look at the garage.
Oh, fuck. What'd you do?
I didn't do nothing. I opened the door.
Oh, my God. It's like a fucking fire in there.
What'd you do?
I didn't do nothing. Well, can you see anything up there?
Oh. I have one of those.
Yeah.
That's pretty rich, though.
Well, yeah, because he's been playing with it while we've been waiting for you.
For the last 20 minutes, I just keep hitting the button.
This is where we're starting off day 2 on the engine. Mitch had got all these all separated. You can see, look how nice and neat all his work is. Those are the frost plugs we got out on the last day. And you can see those are all missing from the side of the block. We've got one more down in the back behind the cam right here to get out. We're going to get the crankshaft out. We're going to wind up having to do just a little cleanup work on that. And today we're going to remove all the cam bearings and get some of this cleaned up, get all the plugs. There's another bracket over here we're going to take off. And that's the plan for the day. Welcome to the channel, and I guess what's round 2 and round 3 for the engine. Of course, we left off with the cylinder heads, and then we got a couple of days in on the engine block. As you can see, we also kind of messed with Tim this week because we just couldn't resist. And what you won't hear in there is that when he spotted Mitch, he definitely referred to him. I guess the name would be similar to what you would refer to a lady of the night as, maybe. We'll say it politely like that. He's probably questioning whether he should be looking for new friends at this point. I would be anyways. So yes, onto the engine. You can see we got quite a bit done. We did have a video camera on some of the work a little closer, and apparently it wasn't recording because I was really hoping to like show the cam tool and everything, but I will go right into all the meat and potatoes here. So of course we started off with the we plastic gauged all the mains and the rod bearings, so we get a good idea of where the numbers are. And I have a piece of video so you can kind of see what some of the marks that the plastic gauge left on the crank look like. So I'll put that in there, and I'm going to flip this so I can show you our car. So let's see if I can get that far enough away. So here's the numbers we wound up with. You can see everything fell within all specs required. So all your crank's supposed to be between 2 and 3 thou, and you can see 2.6, 2.3, 2.5, 2.2, 2.2, and then between 1 and 5 thou on all the rod bearings, and they were 1.57 we had out, and we didn't bother to do it because it looked the exact same. And I suppose if I was going to add something else to that, we use the old bearings to do our measuring. So when we put the new bearings in, of course, there'll be, well, not much because the bearings weren't heavily worn, but they will be a little bit tighter than the measurements we wound up with. So we've got all the crank mains out of it. We have there's those rails that were cleaned up in the previous video, and the push rods have been pre-cleaned. There's still some rust on those, but none of it's actually on the ball, so it's not really a big deal. That's more, we want it cleaner. And the ones that came out of the 352 are actually the same size, but they're in pretty rough shape too. There may be a couple of good ones. We have to look a little closer at that. So we got a preliminary cleaning done on the block. So we got all the oil and gunge, and any of the paint that was scaly has all been removed on both sides. Yeah, you can see there. That doesn't look half bad now. So for some of the other guys, now we haven't removed the small frost plugs, but maybe some of you have seen this. It actually looks like this frost plug was installed backwards, or it takes a threaded plug. We're not positive yet. I kind of tried to look it up, but haven't found an answer. And then there's 2 of them on the back side of the block as well. I don't even know if you'll be able to see them. Let me see if I can get in there. I don't know. I'm trying to see if you... I don't even know what you guys see. So, yeah, these ones... Oh, where's my finger? Oh, it's so hard there. Right there. But they look like plugs that have actually been installed backwards. I don't know. I've never seen that before, so I can't really say too much. And I do got one little tiny clip of when we were doing the cam bearing removal, and we did get caught by the back of the engine stand. We had to lower the block down a little bit to get it below center of this plate, so we could knock the rear frost plug and the rear bearing out. They're here, so yeah, you can see we got the cam retainer or frost plug out, and then these are all the cam bearings. Now, the nice thing is about this is that literally all the bearings that came out of the engine are standard. And even the rings that were in the cylinders or on the pistons are also standard. Like I am blown away that an engine of this vintage is pretty much a virgin block. Like we know somebody's been in here before because you see the peen marks here. Somebody already numbered all the main caps. I don't know if the factory rods would have had stamp numbers on them. I don't think so. Some of them aren't real clear. Let's see if you can see. There's a 5 right beside my finger. You might be able to see it right there. So I don't know if those are from factory, honestly, but they were marked. So the only thing we did was we put wrong side. We put a peen matched to the 2 caps to make sure before we took them apart that we were getting all the caps back in the right spots, because that's actually critical. And Mitch got all these cleaned up. These look pretty darn good, actually. As far as I can tell, these are original pistons. And again, if somebody else is really in the know, these ones seem to be a little less common from what I've found. But they are in really good shape. They just suffered a tiny little bit. I would say it's a melt from overheat. There's a couple of them that, let's see, I'll check another one here. There's a couple of them that have, yeah, you can see right on the edge there, if I can get it focused. There, I would totally say that saw just a little bit of heat and that edge right there on the top. But again, that's above the ring line, so we're not worried about it. And all the lands for the piston rings look really good. So that end of it is pretty good, I got to say. And as well, we also got the intake with a bit of a preliminary cleaning done on it. So that's not bad. The one cylinder head needs a scrubbing, but they're going to the machine shop. And we're still awaiting on the second opinion about whether we're going to be doing the hardened seats or not. It seems to be a little bit up in the air. Most definitely, I do want to ask some of you. Unfortunately, the crankshaft's in the way. But it is very clear when you are looking at the main bearings, which would be the top of the bearings, that there's 3 holes. I believe it's 2 and 4, and I want to say it's also number 1. I believe it was, that the bearing is offset. The oil hole on the bearing is offset from the block. Actually, that might even show. I don't know if you guys can see that there's a darkened area. I can't see it too well with the crank in the way. Anyways, those bearings are offset. That is definitely... it just doesn't seem right. Now, I mean, these engines ran for many years, and I know there's a bit of controversy out there in forums from what I've been reading as to whether it's critical to just grind some of the material to get the block hole to line up a little better with the main bearings. And it makes sense to me to do it. And I know this is another one that's a discussion as well. This is the opening where you can see the clean part there. That's the size of the opening on the oil pump. And a lot of guys are drilling these out to 7/16, this hole here, which would probably be, I think it's a little bigger than 5/16, but I don't think it's quite 3/8. But to me, it makes more sense to have these cleared. And I know there's another, this drain port here. You can see how much of that hole, maybe you can't with my hand there, the casting is very rough, and some are saying to open that up a little more because that's also what allows the oil to drain into the timing cover and lube the chain more. So that's a couple of questions. By all means, we take advice from you guys, and we take it seriously. Whether we think right away that you're right or you're wrong, we definitely research it, and we're new to these blocks, so all help is definitely more than welcome. Next round, we're going to continue to finish cleaning this up, and the intake, we are going to measure the camshaft. I'm going to throw this out there too, because some of you guys have 390s or you have already built them. The stock cam, I believe, is good. We're going to measure all the lobes and see if they're all still within spec. And I mean, this is a cruiser convertible car, so it doesn't need to go to the drag strip, but we plan on putting a mild performance exhaust system on the car, just to give it a little bit. And of course, this car came with true duals, so it's going to wind up, with the separation of the banks that gives you that little bit of lumpiness, if you will. But I wouldn't mind knowing your opinion too about the camshaft. So it's not really a lot of money to spend on a camshaft, and we don't have to buy lifters. There was 3 full sets of lifters in the loft where we bought the car, brand new, still in the box. So we have brand new lifters. But do you think it's worth spending the money on a camshaft and just giving, I would say something in the neighborhood of what we would call an RV cam, just a little bit of extra performance out of it? I'm up in the air about it, but it's not a lot more money to spend. So definitely something. We'll take your thoughts on that. So to the other guys that I watch all your channels and I support you, I am trying to catch up with everybody. It became so many now that I'm having a hard time finding the time to watch everybody's videos. And some of you are making really long videos. My goodness, Steve, I'm saying that to you, Steve. I saw your last video was an hour. So, but we appreciate all you guys coming around and supporting us and watching the videos, of course. And we'll see you on the next round. I think one more day on the engine and we'll probably get all the way back onto the body. And we're getting anxious to get back on that and get rolling on that again. Because I think the goal was hopefully having some paint sprayed before the end of March. And we could probably still hit that target. So take care. We'll talk to you really soon.
Cabernet? You playing a game with Cabernet? And we use so much of it that the fucking playing pool at the other end of the fucking bar couldn't see on the pool tables because it's such a haze. You hear the sirens?
Yeah.
Nah, that ain't.
This guy's garage is on fire.
Nah, that ain't that much. Fuck, I would have expected it to be here sandblast and bomb and that. Outside at least.
Yeah, but it falls somewhere around the city.
Well, it was on over there.